Are your units slow when you use your AI or auto feature? And are they not arting on time or are they taking years to art? Then this video will be perfect for you because I will be explaining exactly why that is happening and how you can fix it. It is very easy, it is very simple, but it does require some time. So the best way to, test out all these AI stuff is under the training section and free practice. I am going to explain and show you exactly how this AI works and how to make it quick. I am going to use Toma as a first example because Toma is quite slow. So for now, I'm just going to use this team right here because it only has 2 units. And I'm just going to use Toma for now to show you how it is. So for example, let's say I make an AI for Toma. So I'm just going to do, boop, this, there you go. And obviously this is not going to be the case, but let's say we just want to art with Toma. But of course, we also need to scale because that's where his art case lies. So you obviously want to scale first and then arts because you get the arts from the skill. So you save and close and you go into battle and then you let it auto. But then what happens is this. You go into auto and he uses equips and uses skill. Now, he's still not arting. Now, after 3 seconds, he uses arts. 3 seconds could be crucial in some cases. But obviously, if you think 3 seconds is not that long, you're not correct. You're not really wrong because 3 seconds isn't that long, but it could be very long. It could be too long in some cases. But as you can see, he uses his skill and he uses his arts about 3 seconds after that. However, you can make him use his arts quicker. Because the reason why he takes 3 seconds to arts is because he is using his skill. Now, this, like I just said, is fixable by doing this. So if we go to Toma's AI, if we go to Toma's AI, you can see I have his skill arts first because he obviously needs the arts to use his arts. But if you somehow can manage to give him the 100 arts that he needs to use his arts without using his skill, you can make this a lot quicker. So let's say we put that skill arts above and we put on skill that he can use his skill after he uses arts at least once. So now it's at that. Now let's put SG Lisa's AI that she is going to give the equip to the first unit, which is, of course, Toma. So now let's put this on AI and let's see how quickly he will use his arts. So we're on auto mode. SG Lisa gives the equip and 0.83 seconds and Toma immediately arts. And of course he then arts again. So 0.83 seconds and 3 seconds. I'm sure that, that is quite a huge difference. So let's just restart it. Let's just look at this one more time just to make it clear. So I'm full auto mode. I'm not touching my phone. Just SG Lisa gives the equip and Toma just 0.83 seconds again immediately uses his arts. So why is that? Now, like I just said a little bit, it is because Toma is not using his arts because he is currently undergoing his skill where he throws a few punches and boop, 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 yeah. That takes time. And as a taunt tank, you want to arts as soon as possible. So how to prevent this is, let's say in Grand Crusade, because there is where I heavily need it, you need to arts ASAP, like as soon as possible you need to use your arts. You would then need or use a arts generator to give the arts to Toma so that he can arts immediately. So just to give you a quick example, if we go to Grand Crusade and we go to the area list and then we just look at the teams. Yep. Alright, there we go. If we look here, as you can see, if we use my free run, the Grand Crusade, so this one, if you look at this AI, you can see that I'm using Axis. If we go in there, you can see that my first priority is for free run to give that Axis to Gerald, who will then use his arts first and then true arts. Why arts first? Because obviously Axis does not give 200, arts gives 100. So I want him to arts as soon as possible and then true arts if he still gets the chance, if the boss isn't dead by then. So this is how I do it my way. So that's just to give you a quick example of how my AI works. Now, another thing that I would like to say is if we go back to training and free practice, if we go to the AI of a certain unit, any unit, and you click on default AI and just anything, it doesn't even, let's just say instinct, yeah? You will then see equip, which is fine, and then this like, when the CT of, or when the art gauge of blah, 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 you can just remove that. It makes it, I promise you, it makes it quicker. The same goes to skill. Just remove it. It makes it quicker. I don't know why, I don't know how, this AI is kind of stupid, but it is how it works. So that is another huge tip. It also looks cleaner, it looks neat, it looks more organized, so just do it that way. However, let's say, for example, SG Lisa. You want SG Lisa to prioritize a skill over her arts and true arts and super arts, whatever. Why? Because her skill has the arch gen in her. So auto-fills all allies art gauge by 3 for 8 seconds. That's arch gen. So, for example, on my main AI set for SG Lisa, you can see here, skill CT has to be below 99% for her to use her true arts or super arts. Why? So that she will use her skill first and then use her super arts, true arts, whatever. So let's say if we remove Toma, I can show you. Nope, that's not removing him. If we remove Toma, I can show you exactly what I mean. So let's use her AI. There we go. And you will see that she will, in this case, she will first use her skill and then use her true arts and super arts. But even when her true arts and super arts is ready, she will still do it. See, there you go. She uses skill, which takes a few seconds. Then she will true arts. Because that's how I want my SG Lisa to be. I want her to use her skill first and then use her super arts, true arts, whatever. So now her skill is ready. First uses a skill, waits a second, then uses a super arts. That is how I want my SG Lisa to work. If I'm auto farming for whatever I am auto farming. Now, another thing is what you might have just noticed is that I have different AIs for different stages. So obviously the only AIs I make is mostly, and like 99% of the time, is for crest farming. So as you can see here, main, so that's just what I use for everything, Grand Crusade, and then this is the same as main but with the revive slot, and this is the same as main but then with a heal slot. And you can see here, Monday crest, Tuesday crest, Wednesday crest. Also, don't mind this, I had a new fusion equip, so it's the old fusion equip got deleted or whatever. Wednesday, Thursday extreme, Friday Nova, Saturday extreme, Sunday Nova, and then the rest are just extras. So and then if you have a look as well, let's say Monday extreme, I don't want to use my super arts, true arts on the last wave, but I do want them to use on any wave that isn't the last wave. But let's say on Tuesday, I wanted to just use her true arts and super arts, nothing else. Just true arts, super arts, true arts, super arts, just, like that. But for example, let's go to Saturday. I don't want it to do anything because she's not doing anything on Saturday. Like, for example, I forgot what's... Oh, yeah. Saturday's Magic Circle. So I just want Okroom to one-shot. Because using your true arts and using your super arts takes time. And if you're farming, especially during half-off, you don't want to waste any second. So in my case, for Saturday, I will just use SG Lisa if I want to get a Magic Circuit on her, which I already have. But let's say I didn't. I will just do this. Just, have no arts on her whatsoever, but just use her equips so that she's still, a little bit usable. And Okroom will just do the rest of the job. And Sunday Nova, just same as mostly just true arts, super arts, even and odd. So that is a huge thing that people don't know about. You can just make many different AIs for different days, or you can use this the way you want, but this is how I use it, and I think it's great. Anyway, so that's another tip. For example, if we go to someone complicated, so let's say Okroom, Friday Nova. Let's see right here, Friday Nova. Look at this. I want my Okroom to true art before the second wave. I want him to super arts on the third wave. I want him to true arts on the fourth wave. And I want him super arts on the last wave as long as the boss is more than 1% HP. Why do I want the boss at 1% HP? Because if the boss is dead, because this Friday Nova takes a bit to die, I don't want him super arting while the boss is dying. Because that's just a waste of time. Because like I just said, true arting, super arting, whatever, takes time. I don't want that. So I just want him to super art as long as the boss is not dead. But this right here, the 1% boss HP, is very useful for something else. So let's go to my Misaka, for example, because I know that she needs it. Where is she? Here she is. So if we go to my Misaka and we check her Tuesday Nova, you can see here Oh no, I'm not using it. Okay, well, I can't remember who else I'm using it on. But for example, the Tuesday Nova has two bosses. It has one boss on the third wave and one boss on the fourth wave, and so does the Friday Nova. If you use this when the HP of the boss, is 10% HP or whatever, then that means that, for example, on the super art, let's say if I got rid of this last wave thing, right? Then this would, like, if it was just like this, then she would use her super arts on any wave that has a boss, but not on a wave that doesn't have the boss. So for example, the first and the second wave don't have any bosses there. So if you're super arting on the first and second wave, that is just wasting your super arts. But if you have this on, this boss thing, then she won't super arts on the first and second wave, but she also won't only super arts on the last wave, because usually, most of the time, the boss is only on the last wave. But for Nova, that is not the case. So you want her to super arts on the third wave as well. Well, not my Misaka, but you get my point. So if you want to super arts on a wave that is not the last wave, but has a boss, or where you just need to use the super arts, use this, because she won't super arts on ways that are there where there aren't any bosses, and she will super arts on ways that are bosses, even though it's not the last wave. So make use of this. And then as you can see, all the other ones are, I don't want her using her super arts if an ally is below 55% HP. So I want her to use her true arts instead. So are you like a little bit understanding how this whole AI works? Because there's a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn. I'm just giving you some of the best and basic information. But your AI will all depend on the units that you use, the stages that you're clearing, and also equips. Equips is also plays also an important role. So that's that. Another tip that I want to give is when you go into battle, you have to remember to put the AI on. So if you are in a battle and then you click on menu and then options, you want it to be on AI, and you want all of these to be on, unless of course you have specific reasons where they don't have to be on. But this has to be on AI. If it's on do not use, she just won't do anything. If she's on arts, she will only use her arts regardless of her AI and regardless of her how much art she has. True arts, same, she'll just use her true arts, and same goes for super arts. So make sure it's always on AI. And for example, if you're luck farming and you want other units to not use use their like arts, true arts, whatever, just put them on do not use, and put the main, like for example Ogrun, put them on AI. So this is also very important information. So don't forget that as well. For example, here as you can see, she did not use her skill, she just used her art straight away. That is not what I said. For example, if we go to my Misaka's AI right now, I don't know what AI she's on, but I think it's just my main. Oh wait, it is actually. So look, as you can see, for example here, when the unit's art gauge is 299 or less, because if she has 299 arts, I don't want her using a skill, because she's just getting one arts, which is not needed. It is better to just use her true arts or super arts if she can, because getting one arts will take way less than using her skill, unless there's for some weird reason no arts generators in your team. But it will just take way longer, and then you might as well just super arts quicker. So this is all how it works. See, for example, look, on my main AI of Misaka, see, it was on Misaka after all. As you can see, I want to use her super arts on a boss. I don't care what wave it is, but if there's a boss, I want her to use her super arts. So that is why I highly recommend to use this specific condition, because it's really useful. It's really useful. And on top of that, as you can see here, I have this, like where it says arts, and then this arts is 0 CT and then down. This is so useful, because this allows your unit to not continuously use their arts, true arts, or whatever. So what I highly recommend you do, or what I, advise you to do, is if you have a unit that is, most units have this, where you just want to use their arts once, and then use their true arts, whatever. So for example, I want my Misaka to arts, and then never arts again, and then I want her to true arts after at least artsing once, and then never true arts again, and then I want her to super arts whenever after she has super arted, true arted, and when there's a boss in this currently there. But I do want her to use her true arts every 20 seconds. Why 20 seconds? Because if we go to Misaka's quit real quick, then you can see right here that on her true arts, she will increase all allies status and it reduces enemy's crit resistance by 100% for 30 seconds. Why am I not doing 30 seconds? Because then you're basically having a few seconds of not having these stats up and stuff like that. So I'm keeping it safe by 20 seconds. Plus 20 seconds is really long anyway, so it's fine. And if we actually go back to Misaka, you can also see here on her arts, increases attack and skill CT speed by 100% for 60 seconds. That is also what it's awesome. 60 seconds is really long. So what am I doing here? Every 50 seconds, I want her to use her arts whenever she has the arts for it. And the only way she is going to spend her arts is if she super arts. So she will get 300 arts. And if before she hits 300 arts, one of these timers run out, so 20 seconds runs out, she'll just true hearts instead. And that's what I want. So, you know, that is what I like. Now this, why do you see 4? I only have this on Misaka because I don't want her to use her true arts if a unit needs healing that isn't light, because she doesn't heal non-light units. She only heals light units. So then I want her to only heal light units, and then you'll have to do it this way, which I found out. Because if you do it like this and you just do any unit, then she will just always true arts, and that is not cool. So yeah, if you want something like this, you have to do it this way. You just have to make 4 conditions to allow her to only true arts and certain conditions. And then of course equip 1, equip 2, like I said before, only when bosses are available, because she has this magic res down, and that is really useful. So that is that. Yeah, that's honestly, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much what I wanted to say in this video. It is really easy to use AI. You just need to get your head around it. Like in the beginning, it's a bit difficult, it's a bit complicated, but once you understand the basics and fundamentals of AI, it is really easy. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Join the Discord, or maybe even leave a comment on this YouTube video. It's up to you, or don't do anything. Totally up to you. But if you join the Discord, just add me or DM me. I would gladly help. Any questions you have about AI or anything else, just let me know. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.